Well, it's a beautiful day here in Southern Oregon. It's early February and it's probably in the low 60s right now. It's a nice day for a ride. Now, we haven't had snow here or rain for well over a month, so in the valleys it's dry, but up in the hills on the off-road area that I go to, it's still snow covered, so my ride today will strictly be on pavement. I rarely take a backpack when I'm going on a day ride. I really don't like wearing a backpack. And what I want to talk about today is my personal 3 reasons why I dislike wearing a backpack on a motorcycle. You know, this is my own opinion. You may agree with them or not, which is fine. But if you want to know my 3 reasons why I do not like wearing a backpack on a motorcycle, stick around and I'll go through all 3 of them. Reason number 1 why I dislike wearing a backpack is weight. So if I was to fill this 1.5 liters of water all the way up, that's going to weigh about 3.3 pounds. And if I add the weight of the backpack and the weight of any food or other supplies in here, I'm probably pushing 5 pounds. That's quite a bit of weight. I'm already probably wearing my motorcycle jacket, which is a few pounds, and then I add this on, and pretty soon I've got about 10 pounds sitting on my back. And so weight to me is just something I don't want on my back as I'm riding for long distances or even for the day. It's really wears at me if I fill this water up all the way and I've got weight in here, 4 or 5 pounds. After a few hours, definitely by the end of the day, my shoulder is sore, my neck is starting to pinch into my nerve, my back's sore, and it's all because I've got this weight sitting on my back, tugging at my shoulders. I don't like that. So that's reason number 1. Okay, reason number 2 is related somewhat to weight, but it has to do more with balance. So when I'm riding on the motorcycle, I like to have my center of gravity balanced, as what most folks do. You know, you don't want it too far forward, you don't want it too far back. It depends on whether you're sitting or whether you're standing, but you want to be balanced on the bike. And what I find is that when I get this thing loaded with water and gear, again about 5 pounds, it pushes my balance to the back. You know, it's pushing me to the back of the bike. And I find myself leaning more forward than I normally lean when I ride, just to get the center of gravity back up, because this backpack rides up high. It doesn't ride down low. Now, the T7 is already top heavy. When I put myself on at a 6-foot tall frame, that adds some more top heaviness. And when I put the backpack on, it's even more top heavy. So I have to adjust my balance both forward and back and sideways by the added weight that sits high up on my back above the top of the bike. So I don't like the imbalance. I don't like the feeling of it. That's my reason number 2. Okay, now my reason number 3, this is purely subjective and silly. I get it. It's a frivolous thing. But honestly, I don't like the way that it looks. When I think of somebody on a motorcycle, I don't think of them wearing a backpack. It just looks out of place. Now, I've ridden cruisers, street-oriented cruisers, most of my life until about a year ago when I bought the T7 here. And so I don't come from a long history of riding off-road or adventure bikes. And that's where you mostly see the backpacks. So partly is I never wore a backpack on my street cruisers. You know, it just didn't look right. It doesn't fit it. You'll never see a guy in leathers and Harleys, on a Harley, let's say, wearing a backpack. So yeah, I get it. It's a little bit frivolous, but you know, I just don't like the look of it. That's number 3 for me. So the question that you may be wondering right now is, if I don't wear a backpack on some rides, where do I carry things like my water, rain gear, some snacks, you know, like on a day ride? let's say. And I'll tell you, I generally carry them, if I don't have my saddlebags, which I don't here today, then I carry them in my little crash bar bags. So I can carry a half a liter of water up here in my crash bar bags. I can get to it really easily. And so that's fine. On a day ride, you know, I don't really need much water more than about a half a liter if I'm going for a day. So that works fine. If I want more, I can just put another bottle in there. Now, I can't drink that water as I ride, which I'm fine with, because I like taking a break, getting my bum off the saddle, and this makes me stop, smell the roses, look around a bit, get a drink of water, and then get back on a bike, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't want to sit on a bike for hours on end just to get from point A to point B. That's not the kind of rider that I am. So carrying a bottle, for me, is fine. I have no problem with that. In fact, I prefer drinking out of the bottle versus sipping out of the bladder. So that is an alternative that seems to work for me. So I do wear a backpack though. It's not that I don't, but only on longer rides and only if I really need to. And if I do, and I have the bladder in there, I'll only fill the bladder about half full. I may still carry a bottle here, so I've got water here and maybe some water also in the bladder, but not a lot. I won't carry that much weight. And if I'm out there on a multi-day ride and I'm camping, I always take this Sawyer. It's a water filtration system. It's a squeeze system that you fill this little bag with water, and then you can attach the filter and you squeeze the water through the filter, and I can refill this bottle, and I can also refill the bladder if I've got it. So if I'm camping, I'm usually near water. There's water someplace around, and I'll stop and I'll use this to refill up if there's no potable source of water. I happen to be way out in the boonies. I always carry this filtration system too, so I can refill it up. That way I don't have to carry 1.5 liters of water on my back. And if I am going on a multi-day trip where I want the extra water to carry along, either to use at camp or as I'm riding, let's say the water sources are a bit scarce, and I don't want to have 1.5 liters on my back, I will pack it inside of my soft saddlebags, which I obviously don't have on here now. And yeah, there's a chance that this bladder could open up and leak. I haven't had that problem yet. Close it up tight, and I put it on the top, and so I can carry this water 3.5 pounds or so, 3.2 pounds, but I'll carry it back here low in my saddlebags instead of up high on my back. Okay, now that I've said all that, a disclaimer here is that I do use the backpack sometimes on day trips and also on multi-day trips. What I find it useful for me personally is I carry my camera electronic gear in it. I've got a drone, and it's I don't want the thing to get crushed and broken, and it's fairly light. So I can put the drone inside of my little backpack, and it doesn't pull on my back much because it really doesn't weigh that much. And if I should happen to drop the bike, I don't have to worry about it getting crushed because it's on my back. So it saves that, and it's also because I want to get the drone out pretty quickly, or my camera gear out, take some videos and put it back in and get back to riding. I don't want to have the drone buried down somewhere inside of my saddlebags, inside of the luggage. So yeah, it's a disclaimer. I do use it, but it's a kind of a specialized use where whatever I'm carrying on my back is going to be very, very light. Okay, there's my 3 reasons for disliking wearing a backpack on a motorcycle. Like I said, you may disagree with me. I'd like to hear your comments, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to take offense that you don't agree with what I say, because it's a personal thing, right? Wearing a backpack, there's no set rules there. So anyhow, I hope you did enjoy a little bit of that video. Give me a thumbs up if you did. If you'd like to see more, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notify button, and I'll see you next time on one of my senior moments.